This is the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast, where we spread awareness for men's mental health and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. New episodes drop weekly.
Lord, I pray you'll fill me with your Holy Spirit, that you'll guide this conversation and that we can raise awareness for mental health. And most importantly, just to let people know who you are, Jesus, and how great you are and how much you love us. I pray anyone tonight listening to the show that doesn't have purpose or direction or guidance will find that purpose, and they'll feel loved, and that they know their life is valued and has meaning. I pray that you'll bless this conversation. Please bless the software, protect us from the enemy, guide me, Lord, and use me as your vessel. It's in your mighty name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome back to the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Steve, and here we raise awareness for men's mental health and also spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Tonight, we're going to have a story that's built in chaos and the discipline. I'm sitting down tonight with a gentleman that served in the Army and also in law enforcement, and he has his own company. He's the CEO of Paragon Training Company. I'm here tonight with Ryan LaRose. Ryan, welcome to the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming on tonight. And like I do with all my other guests, I just like to kind of start from the beginning, kind of give us an overview of, where are you from, man? Where'd you grow up, and what did childhood look like for you?
Yeah, I grew up in Concord, New Hampshire for the first 12 years of my life. I'm one of 5 brothers.
Okay.
Second oldest. Grew up in a split home since birth, basically. Father was in that picture when I was a little younger, and then eventually I would go to him every other weekend, and that was off and on. But we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 of us at the time in 1 bedroom. And then my mom and whoever she had for a spouse at that time was always around. Didn't really have much growing up at all. We were Section 8 housing, lived in bottom floor apartment building, ghetto brick buildings that you see all over the place, right in Concord, New Hampshire, Loudon Road, if anybody's familiar with it.
Okay.
Grew up there until I was about maybe 11. There wasn't much. We were outside. Baseball was kind of what I did. It's all the only thing I knew. So we were out every day. We got back from school. We were outside playing baseball, pretending to hit home runs, because we used to have this red fence that blocked off our apartment complex to the next one. So we tennis a green monster and try to hit home runs. So I'd say baseball was really my piece growing up.
Okay.
And with my brothers outside of that, we really had nothing.
Were you pretty tight? Were you pretty tight with your brothers since going back and forth between your mom and your dad's place?
Yeah, me and my 2 younger brothers, Kyle and Braden, and then my older brother Zach, were really close when we were all going through it. Okay. And I have 2 other brothers, Riley, who came later, and Greg, my stepbrother. They're on my stepmom's side.
Okay.
Yeah, we were actually really close. We didn't have much friends unless they were in the apartment complex. We spent every day with each other when we could. Then I'd say about 8 years straight of that. I can remember all the way back to preschool. Our preschool was across the street. I remember T-ball. I remember it all growing up. But we obviously didn't have the best growing up. My mom, she didn't work. My stepdad at the time, John, he's my main stepdad. He lived with us for the majority of the time. He was all right. He worked at a gas station down the corner, rode his bike to the gas station. My mom was an addict. She was addicted to prescription pills and medications, in and out of the hospital throughout my childhood. Most of my birthdays were spent at the Concord Hospital. Yeah, she was always in and out, rehab, jail, stuff like that. So
what about grandparents? Did you have any grandparents that you spent time with?
Yeah, thank God for my grandparents. On my dad's side at the time, when my dad got custody of us for every other weekend, and it ended up being like once a month, and so they took us in. When my mom lost her house, they took us in for a little bit, and I remember majority of my childhood being at their trailer. That was in trying to think, Allenstown, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Some trailer park up there, but basically, yeah, they raised us. There was a lot of discipline from my grandfather. He served in the Army. So I just remember being a kid when we were over there. I was always outside helping rake the yard, helping him on his motorcycle, which I have now, which is awesome.
Nice, man. That's
awesome. Yeah. And then, just bouncing back and forth from there to my other grandmother's house from my mom's mom. She's a big savior in our life too. kind of helped us with food and bills and keeping us clothed. So my grandparents are huge in my childhood until I was about 12. Um, but I relied on them growing up for sure.
What was the relationship like with your biological father since you didn't get to see him a lot?
So I was young, so I didn't understand what actually was going on. I thought this was normal. I thought that was normal to see your dad every once in a while,
Hmm.
every other weekend. And I just saw him as, basically my hero as a kid because, he played baseball growing up and he always wanted to teach us how to play baseball. And it was just always cool seeing our dad. He would sometimes show up at our school and bring us Burger King or
Nice.
coming on a field trip every once in a while. Um, yeah, so I didn't understand what was going on until later in life. So to me, that was the normal until
Yeah.
later in life, in my teenage years, I started to understand split households, but I thought it was normal. I thought 2 Christmases were normal
Hmm.
and going back and forth. So
So it sounds like your dad was really trying to be present in your life.
I don't know. I feel
Okay.
like he was there when he could.
Hmm.
I feel like now as an adult and being a father myself, and my son has a different mother that we're not together with. So just being a father myself in a split household, I feel like he could have done a lot more. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I never really had that conversation with him to find out his reasoning.
Yeah. And the reason I say that, man, because I mean, unfortunately, I've been divorced twice, and I have two children, but one from each marriage, and so I'm very familiar with different homes, different holidays, joint custody, and I see the impact that it. And obviously, it's more common now than when I
Hmm.
was growing up, but I do see the impact it has, especially on my son who is going to be 8 this summer, and it's a lot for a kid, man. It's a lot to especially when you first have that change of homes, and you've got to get new toys, new clothes, make sure you've got this, and bringing the backpack back and forth. My son plays soccer, so he has to bring his soccer gear over on the weekends that I have. And I'm thankful for the custody schedule that I
Hmm.
have. But yeah, I don't know if a lot of people understand that. They've never experienced it, but it's I didn't grow up like that, but it is a lot to put
Hmm.
on kids, man. Because I think divorce is so glorified in our society today. And I'm not gonna get a big rant about it, but like you see a lot of people say, oh, do you be happy, all this kind of stuff, but they don't think about the impact that it has on the kids, and having to go back and forth and live in this dual life. I mean, it really plays a big role in a negative way, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just being a kid that went through it and then watching my son through it now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do whatever I can. We're in a huge custody battle right now, and
Mm.
I see it taking a toll on him. And it's another reason we introduced religion recently to him, and trying to I'm trying to learn with him, but
Yeah.
um, just trying to get him to understand that what he's going through and that it's okay and he'll make it through it.
How old's your
And
son?
he's 5.
Oh, yeah, okay, I can relate to that,
Yeah,
man. We
and then
were
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we got divorced when my son was 4. So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. That's great that you're introducing, faith to him. Did you now how was that for you growing up, man? Like, did your family go to church at all? Did your grandparents expose you
Yeah,
to
nothing.
anything?
My
Okay.
grandmother was Catholic, but my dad was really against it also. That was never
Oh, okay.
introduced, and my mom was never into religion. It actually wasn't until 2 years ago, my current fiance right now, her family introduced me to, religion,
Okay.
on Easter morning at,
Wow.
the long I had no clue what was going on. I didn't understand anything. It
Yeah.
was an experience, and, I feel like ever since I, did that and started talking about it and reading, and especially to my son every night. Um, my life has kind of just been more positive and I'm motivated to keep going.
Well, I'm glad you're here tonight, man, because I think a lot of people that tune into this show, and while you're watching, make sure you subscribe to it, hit the bell, because a lot of you guys don't subscribe. We need you to subscribe. No, I'm kidding, but like I think that people don't really understand, or they think they may have this false sense of I have to have this upbringing in church, or I got to have this background, this real strong knowledge base to go to church or to understand how to worship God. And so I think I'm glad you're here, man, because we can kind of get into that some on this episode. But I think we're going to shed some light on what it really means to follow Christ, because you don't have to come into it with this, with credentials. Anybody can follow Christ and worship Jesus. And I think sometimes that gets it gets kind of lost in the shuffle because people think you've got to be this perfect person, and obviously that's not the case. And the man you're talking to right now is not perfect, and I had my own share of mishaps and left the faith, came back, and so yeah, I'm glad you're here, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So let's kind of go back to, so you said you played baseball, man. Did you get into like any high school sports
Yeah,
while you're in
yeah.
school?
So yeah, I played baseball my whole life. Played baseball through junior high, high school. I played JUCO up here in Maine.
Nice. Awesome, man.
And then I'm still playing to this day. That's
Really?
yeah, to in our men's league up here in Old Orchard
Wow.
Beach. So we play in Portland and Old Orchard Beach every Thursday and Tuesday almost
Nice.
throughout the summer. So
What
keeps
position
us.
do you play?
I play center field.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, man.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
best position on the
yeah,
field, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I was
awesome.
I was
I played
small growing
baseball.
up, so I was second base majority of the time. But once I
Yeah.
hit my growth spurt, I fell in love with outfield in college.
Outfield's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
I played baseball in high school. So yeah, I love baseball.
yeah,
It's nice talking to somebody that actually likes it. Most people in Tennessee hate it. They all like
really,
hockey and soccer.
yeah. And
Don't even get
football.
me started.
Was
Well,
that?
honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, dude, like,
Well, I was in Knoxville, so
oh yeah, well that's college.
yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
college.
talking
Yeah,
pro.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, UT for sure. Yeah, that's
yeah.
funny. All right, so you played ball in high school and you went to JUCO. So did you go to JUCO like near where you grew up, or was that kind
Yeah,
of far
it
away
was
from
about
home?
an hour and a half from where I grew up. Um, just to take it back, when I was 12, my mom got into a car crash with the kids in the car, OUI
Mm.
type situation, was arrested and lost custody of us.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and that's when I went and lived with my dad full time, who was now married to my stepmom and living in Maine. So me and my older brother, who were his sons, we went and lived with him. My other younger brothers had to go with their dad, while my mom went through her issues.
Okay.
And from there, that's when I met my friend Matthew Coppola, who's now passed away, but he's best friends growing up, introduced me to football, basketball, just any sport. And I fell in love with sports and ended up being a four sport athlete my whole career.
Nice.
Um, and just, I was very athletic growing up, and thank God to him. And coming to Maine gave me a chance to kind of explore a new lifestyle. It's very different. I know it's right across the border in Maine, New Hampshire, but going from a poverty city to a smaller town was a little shell shock for me,
Hmm.
um, but totally worth it.
Well, it almost sounds like sports were an escape for you, though.
Oh yeah, I mean every
I
day
mean,
after school we set up the basketball hoop, shoot hoops, go to the
hmm
open gyms. I mean, yeah, sports was an escape,
hmm
and that way, I didn't have to come home till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, go to bed,
yeah,
do it again.
yeah.
Um, and as my brothers and stuff faded out into other things and we were less connected, it was definitely my scapegoat for sure.
What year did you start college?
2016.
Oh wow. Okay. I knew
Yeah,
you were younger than me, but thanks for making
yeah,
me feel even older now.
yeah. 28.
But, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
so walk us through, like, so you get into college, you're playing JUCO ball. While
Mhm.
you're in school, are you already kind of thinking like what's Ryan gonna do after school? Like, were you
Yeah,
looking at?
so, like, when I always knew what I wanted to do, and that
Okay.
kinda goes back to my childhood, when I was living with my mom and stuff. I mean, we had domestic violence and stuff, so cops are in and out of our house growing up. Um, and then we got taken by, I think it's DCF in New Hampshire, it's DHS
Mm,
up here. We got
yeah.
taken by them a few times, and I remember every time we had to go with the police car. And but they wouldn't let me and my brother sit together.
Hmm.
And I always got put in a car with this female officer. No idea who she is, can't find her, I don't know her name. But she's actually the reason I'm a cop today.
Wow.
She made me feel safe. She brought me back to the PD. She showed me the PD. They opened up this closet and there's like a bunch of teddy bears that fell out. I was
Hmm.
probably like 5 or 6 at this time,
Wow.
maybe a little older. And she'd give us a teddy bear, but I just remember her. Hopefully she's had a good career. It's been 20 something years. So hopefully she's
Yeah.
retired and living a good life. But I would love to do some research and figure out who that was so I can let her know my story.
That'd be
Um,
amazing if you guys were able to meet again. That'd
yeah,
be really cool.
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that the cops always come into the house and stuff, and the firefighters. I was the nerd kid, like running out trying to get autographs from firefighters and police. I always
Yeah.
had this sense of service, and I don't know where it really came from. I have two great grandfathers that served in World War II.
Oh wow.
I believe it was World War II. Might have been that long, but I always knew about them. I didn't really know them. They
Hmm.
passed away when I was young, but I always saw pictures of them in uniform, and I'm like, wow, I got to do that someday.
Yeah.
And then just seeing the cops and stuff and policing, and my mom was actually a big cop fan growing up, like for TV
Mm.
shows, so a lot of Law and
Oh,
Order
okay.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So true crime stuff. So I was always watching it, and I just fell in love with like investigations, and I wanted to be a detective so bad. Um, so I made it happen eventually.
And
But
it took a while, right, to get into law enforcement?
yeah, it took a while. I had some setbacks. So my senior year of high school, I decided that I didn't want to live at home anymore. So I moved to Florida. I actually moved to Wesley Chapel, right outside Tampa. I lived with my grandfather, which is actually my stepmother's dad.
Okay.
Um, and that was a huge learning experience. I feel like that's the part where I turned from a kid into learning how to be a man. Just learning like etiquette, like at the dinner table, to being able to finances, and just learned all this stuff. So my senior year of high school, I moved down there, and went to high school down there, played basketball for the school. Remember my first game, actually, it was a summer league game, and I scored 24 points, and
Wow.
I'm the smallest kid on the team, and I just felt good because, like, back home, I always felt pressured to perform, and
Mhm.
I always felt, I don't know, like I wasn't meant to be there. And I went down to Florida. I played a little bit of baseball down there, and that was beautiful. That was a dream come true, just playing down there all the time. And then I'm an AB student at this time. I'm on the honor roll, and unfortunately, Florida requires a state test, and
Oh.
I didn't know that. And they called me into the office one day. He's like, "Hey, you got to take this test to graduate." I'm like, "Okay," thinking I'd pass. I'm an AB
Mhm.
student, on the honor roll, right? So I
Mhm.
take this test. I failed by 2 points.
Oh.
They call me in the office one day, and they're like, "Hey, you can't graduate." I was already lined up to go to a college. I was going to try to play baseball for this college down in
Mhm.
Florida. And they said, "No, you're not going to be able to graduate. We can give you a certificate of completion, and you can
Mhm.
come back in the fall and retake the test. But if I fail the test again, I don't get my diploma."
Wow.
So 2 weeks left till graduation. I had to tell my prom date, "I can't go with you." Ended up flying back to Maine. Luckily, my high school, Sanford High School, took me with all my credits because now I had more credits than any kid in the school. But so I ended up flying back to my dad's house for the last 2 weeks of high school, and graduated with the kids I grew up with, which is kind of
Hmm.
cool. I
Yeah,
got
that
to
is cool.
I got to do 2 senior events and see everybody, but I lost a lot of friends coming home that I made down there.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
hard. That'd be hard.
So yeah, I flew back. I graduated high school. At the time, my parents were taking in foster kids, and my foster brother Alejandro was going to play at this JUCO level baseball college. I thought, okay, I'm probably just going to join the army, go active duty.
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm 18, can't be a cop. So, but then he's like, dude, and Alejandro wasn't good at baseball, but he's going to play there. So I was like, all right, if you're playing there, you're playing there. I can play there.
Yeah.
So, ended up going to Central Maine, and playing baseball there, and met
Nice.
some really good guys. We won the fall championship my first year there. Um, and then finished that year off pretty good. We lost, but I had some independence, and I was living in my dorm room. It was pretty sweet lifestyle, but I didn't have money, so money was the issue for me.
Mhm.
I was driving an hour and a half to a McDonald's in Wells, Maine, every Sunday just to make enough money for gas and food to the week because
Wow.
they only gave us $22 a day to eat, and I didn't
Mm.
have any other money for food. No family
Yeah.
was giving me money, so I would drive every Sunday back to Wells, work, and then drive all the way back to school. And I was a manager at McDonald's, which I started working at McDonald's when I was 14 years old.
Wow, no
Um,
kidding.
I worked every Sunday pretty much throughout high school. I didn't have anything. My parents weren't giving us money, so I just wanted to be able to do stuff with my friends. So I just made sure I worked. And before that, I was cutting grass, anything I could do, shovel driveways.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then in college, just money started getting hard. The summer was coming. I didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't want to go live at home just because I'm trying to be my own person. And
Mhm.
my dad was kind of controlling about what we do with our lives and stuff like that. And which I'm not a great role model for. So then that's when I decided, all right, I'm going to go join the army. I'll go away from the summer, come back, and then go back to school. So that's what I did. I left that summer. Went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, to be I was like, I got to be military police. I want to be a cop. So I got to
Yeah.
be an MP, which I regret doing. I wish I did something different. Um, Later in my career, I tried to switch to infantry when I was trying to get on a deployment, but they wouldn't accept me, which
Okay.
sucked. But yeah, I wish I went into infantry right when I was 18 at this point. But
Yeah.
um, I fell in love with CQB, being on the SWAT team. So now I really regret it. But yeah, so I joined the Army, went to Fort Leonard Wood. I was the OSIT program. So I was there for like almost 6 months in the
Wow.
same 60-man dorm. Met some really great guys. Try to stay in contact with them. Obviously, you know how it goes.
Hmm.
Eventually, people fade away. Every once in a
Yeah.
while, we'll talk. But did that. Graduated. Loved it. That was best shape of my life. Felt accomplished. I was like, all right, I'm gonna come home. I went home. I went back on the baseball team. I couldn't. I tried to get the free college stuff, but the paperwork didn't go through, and now I couldn't pay for school in time.
Mm.
So I tried to go, and I was like, all right, I can't do this. I have no money. They're not giving me the money for food, stuff like that. And because I missed a semester because I was at MP school, they suspended me from the baseball team. I had to come back for
Oh man.
I could only practice. So I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Um, my just go back a little bit. My first game of the season, the day before, we're having a walk around practice, and I tore my hamstring. Lost
No
my
kidding.
yeah, and then I couldn't start.
Damn, dude.
Just running after a fly ball.
Mm.
Um, so that kind of was like derailed my season a little bit. And then coming back to this, I was like, all right, can't afford it. I tried. All right, I'm gonna go find work. So then I just started doing oddball jobs, got an apartment. Um, and then trying to remember here, I'm getting things confused a little bit.
And you're National Guard, right?
Yeah, I'm
You're
National
okay.
Guard. I was with the 488 MP company.
Okay.
Nothing special. It was just to pay for school and make me feel some type of accomplishment. And I mean, I'm glad it did it. It definitely
Well,
changed
don't
who I
don't
am.
downgrade it, man. I mean,
Oh,
that's more than a lot of people do, dude.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I loved it. I loved going to drill, until I became an NCO, and then things started to change a little bit, but,
yeah.
yeah, it was great. It made me feel good about what I was doing, and, I felt like I was moving towards my career, what I wanna do in law enforcement. So, that's going great. Drill's going great. Everything military's going great. And then just doing odd jobs, sorry. And then went to, work security. I was working at a furniture company, just trying to till I turned 21.
Hmm. So
Um,
that was the age you had to be to apply for a police
yeah,
department.
so in Maine, you gotta be 20 years old with 60 college credits or 21 years old, no
Okay,
degree. I didn't
gotcha.
have a degree, so I didn't have enough college credits, so I couldn't join.
That
But,
makes sense.
when I was 21, I went and I joined a PD up here in Maine for the summer reserve program. I think Robin talked about it on your show a little bit.
Hmm.
I think she did it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And, that's when I fell in love with policing. It was a little hard to get into. The interview process was it's different than how it is nowadays. They sat us in one chair in the middle of a big room with four, chief, deputy chief, captain, all that in
Hmm.
front of you, and they really drilled it. It's not like that anymore, um, unfortunately. And I was a little nervous because, like I didn't have anything. And actually got a call back the next day, and I was like, oh my God, sweet. And that's when I started my career in law enforcement. We worked a whole summer. It was great. I had like 50 something charges. Summonses I wrote and arrests made, and I was falling in love with the job. At the same time, I missed part of the summer because I had to go away for my annual training in Canada for
Hmm.
the Army, but came back and loved it. And then at the end of the summer, I'm 21. I applied to the old, I applied to my department, and then I get on. They start with me through the process, and then we get through the psych and the poly and stuff. Poly passed, no problem, all good. Unfortunately, they didn't like some of the stuff I went through as a child,
Hmm.
and felt like I may have some aggression, and they asked me to resign.
No
So
kidding,
yeah,
really?
yeah. He's like, you did great this summer. We loved having you, but unfortunately, I can't take the risk, right? So
Hmm.
I was like, dang. And then I applied to a big city, which this big city back in 20 19 would like, you have to do like 3 or 4 interviews to get in. So
Mhm.
I'm like 2 interviews down, and I'm like, all right, this isn't, I don't know what's going to happen here. I also look young. I don't, I look like a kid, and I'm trying to be a cop, and I can see them looking at me like, what are you doing here? And, so eventually I just put in an application for everywhere on the, the coast of Maine, on southern Maine. Got a few interviews, got a few job offers, and finally took one with a department down south of York County. And they took my poly, they took everything I did with the previous department, said there was no issues. They love who I am, and that's what really started my career in law enforcement. Someone gave me a chance, and ended up working that department for about 3 years. It was awesome. It was a small department. We had about 12 guys full time, and there was no detective, so you got to investigate your own case.
Hmm.
But the problem I had was right in during it was COVID,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the academy wasn't taking people. They suspended the
Mm.
class, and so I worked the road with part-time training and completing my FTO program for almost 2 years before I went to the academy.
Wow.
And during that as well was the January 6th event. So
Mm.
I got shipped down to DC for almost 4 months in the middle of COVID and all that. And well, right when I was getting hired at this police department, that's when I found out that I was having a son.
Hmm.
And like that's when I was debating on, do I go back to Tampa and try getting on Pasco County or what? And that's when I found out I was having a son. So I was like, oh man, I got to stay.
Yeah.
Um, because me and his mother were never together. It was a one night stand, and um, unfortunately,
Let,
this all
let's walk back.
happened. But
Let's walk back
yeah,
for 1 second.
yeah,
So I got 2 questions.
yeah,
So you mentioned January 6th. I'm assuming your guard unit got activated.
yeah.
So
We
you
got
had to go.
activated.
Okay.
We actually got activated first for our state house because they thought the riots were going to be there. But heck,
Okay.
it ended
Okay.
up being 4 people, and then they're like, I believe, trying to remember, it was like 72 hours. We're going to DC.
Okay. And I have a
So
question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No.
Well, I was going to ask because you said you passed a poly on that one department, and then they said they were concerned because of your childhood and you might have anger issues. Well, you were already in the National Guard as an MP. Did that not help with that process? Did they not see that and say, "Hey, this
No,
dude's"?
I think that's what helped got me the reserve job.
Mm,
Going there and just, hey, I'm in the military. I'm pretty squared away.
mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I don't think it mattered to that chief at the time, who's not the
Huh.
chief anymore. But the
Okay.
new chief is great. This department that didn't let me go is actually who I'm with now.
Okay.
So I ended up going back to them after some administration changes.
And I'm curious because I just thought of this when I did my psych eval. They the guy kind of cornered me because of the school I went through in the Navy, and he was like, "I bet you get in fights a lot, and I bet if somebody bumps into you in a bar, you get mad." Now, of course, I'm lying, but I
Yeah,
was like, "Man, this guy's got me dead to rights."
yeah,
But
I
the
got
psych eval's no
yeah,
joke, man.
I got
It's
out of
no joke.
basic training, and I'm still like that nerd kid that like sitting up straight, hands on the lap, like
Yeah.
I'm like answering everything like that. And I remember doing it to the uh, the psych lady that was doing my thing, and
Mhm.
she asked me one question. She's like, a scenario where I had to shoot somebody. Could you do it? And I didn't hesitate. I said, yes, I can do it.
Yeah.
And she found that alarming. So
Really,
yeah,
dude.
no, I was too cocky about it. I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
well, that's what I just spent the last 6 months training,
Right.
and finally put in my head like, yeah, if someone's going to take my life for a third person's, I don't have a problem stepping in and making sure that everybody gets to live on our side.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I've come close on the job here, but I don't want to do it. But if I had to,
Right.
I could. I think that was just misunderstood, but that was a big part of it. And I was just like, wow.
Hmm.
So when I interviewed at the Southern Maine PD, I put it all on the line to them. I was like, this is what I meant. And yeah, and that chief is like, I actually applied part time.
Mm,
So I could
okay.
just be part time, work my way up. And he called me in the office. He's like, scared the living shit out of me. He's like, yeah, we have a problem. And I'm like, what's the problem? He's like, I don't want to hire you part time. So my heart drops. He goes, I want to hire you full time.
Oh man, that's
I
not
was like,
cool.
damn.
That's
Yeah.
not cool.
So completely like mixed emotions in there. I was like, holy smokes. But yeah, that's what started my career. And learned a lot from. Shout out to my Sergeant Fillmore. We're really good friends now, and a big mentor of mine at the time through my young adulthood. And he showed me the way, and eventually I was off FTO and I could do my own cases and stuff. And took a few cases and ended up going federal and putting some bad guys away for a long time. And that's what kind of put me on the map for detective work, and fell in love with it. And then eventually, working in a small town, I wanted more of it, and I saw an opportunity at the old department I was at, and I was like, I got to go for it. And then ended up making detective in 3 months of being there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Ryan. So let's go back to when you were a little boy and I forgot what you guys call it there, DCS or whoever's
Yeah,
coming.
DCF, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going back to the 5-year-old version of yourself, and you see the police officers, and you mentioned you wanted to run out and get their autographs and all that kind of stuff. What did it feel like for you, man, the first time you put on that badge and you were, you were a certified police officer, going from that moment as a child, from where you came from, which is an
Yeah.
incredible story in itself, just to be, brought up in that environment. And now you're protecting and serving. You're doing the job of what you saw as a kid and what you always wanted to do. And dude, I mean, it's rare for people to have a childhood dream and then be able to actually go and accomplish that.
Yeah.
How'd that feel for you, man?
There's a lot of mixed emotions. Like, I was the first person to go to college in my family. I was
Mm-hmm.
first out of my brothers to graduate high school. And kind of everybody else went down a pretty bad path. And I'm like the only one that made it out. So when I became a reserve officer, like, it felt great, it felt good, but
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wasn't there yet. I didn't have what we call in Maine a blue pin, which is your
Mm-hmm.
full-time certification. But
Okay.
finally I went to the academy, and I don't know if you ever looked up the Maine Criminal Justice Academy, but it's like a big castle. And
Mm-mm.
then we take the test in this auditorium. And then after the auditorium, you have to walk through this creepy basement back to your dorms.
Hmm.
And I remember hitting the enter button on my computer for my final test to pass the class, and I passed. And I just remember walking through the tunnel by myself, just clapping, like,
Yeah.
I had a little tear. Like, it was a huge dream of mine. So it means a lot to me to work in law enforcement. It's definitely my dream, and kind of why I started my company. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
yeah,
That's awesome. Um, and I don't know much about Maine, to be honest with you, just from
yeah.
having Robin on the show and hearing her talk. I mean, I'm down near Nashville, so yeah, I've never been up there, to be honest with you. And it's some of the things are similar here. Like we had a in-house academy for 16 weeks. We went on the road for a couple with an FTO. Then we went to the state academy for 12
Hmm.
weeks, came back, and then
Oh
we
wow.
had like 4 different phases of FTO where we worked all the shifts, and then we got cut loose, but we were still
Hmm.
the new guy. So people were still challenging us. I want to ask you this because I ask cops this a lot on here, man. You finally get to the department, you finally get hired on, not reserves, but like the
Yeah.
full-time law enforcement officer. You've got the National Guard background. Did they treat you different because they knew that you were an MP in the Guard, or how was that for you, man?
I don't. There wasn't much more treatment differently. I mean, obviously the civilians treated you better when they found out you're military.
No, I mean your department.
My department, I think
Yeah.
they didn't really care that much. We had a few other veterans on the force,
Mhm.
so they just like it. It shows discipline. So
Yeah.
um, it's not like we brag about it, or are they bragging about
No,
it, or anything like
I
that. But
the reason I asked, dude, because like here in the good old South, the dudes that don't join the military, there's some animosity towards the veterans that are
yeah, not
guys that
here.
just go straight from school into law enforcement that didn't go in the
Mhm.
military. So there's a little bit of a for lack of better words, an inter-service rivalry. But I was just curious because when I was getting hired on, it's like, oh, veterans preference points and blah blah blah, and like
Mhm.
we'd love to have you and thanks for serving your country. And then you get in the job and it's like, all right, which one of you guys? No, which one of you guys
Yeah.
is trustworthy and legit? So I was just curious, man.
Yeah, through my experience, not really. I mean, there's
Mm,
always the guys that joke around. Hey, you should have joined the army or Marines or whatever,
yeah,
and make fun of the guys that say I was gonna join, but
yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah,
no, I feel like it's a big resume booster, but nothing that it would cause issues between other people in the department.
gotcha. Okay.
We like to use it on calls and stuff, like especially when we go on mental health calls.
Hmm.
They're a veteran of some
Yeah,
sort. We like
totally,
it's
totally.
huge game changer. So it's more of a tool for us up here than
Yeah.
anything.
Well, you kind of glossed over the baseball stuff, man. So I know you tore your
Yeah.
hamstring. So let me ask you this, man. I don't know if you've been asked this shit on a show. I played ball too, and that was like all I cared about for years. What was that like for you when you kind of realized that that was over, and now you needed to go? I mean, I know you had this
Yeah,
dream of
I
becoming a
ended up.
cop,
Yeah, I
but
ended up. Yeah, the baseball was really over. Yeah, because I ended up getting benched after. Um,
mm,
so like I had to compete back for my spot, and I just
yeah,
wasn't. I wasn't there with my leg, and I was smaller, so I already had. Um, uh, I had to compete way harder than everybody else because of my size.
hmm
When I was in college, I was small. I was 5'7", 130. Like I was pretty small. And it kind of it sucked. And
yeah,
you know what it feels like to get
yeah,
thrown on the bench and like you can't play, and then you watch the person in your position mess up. And you're like, that's an easy fly ball. I could have caught it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and that really did kill me. I feel like that was started my like attitude change and like, oh, what am I doing here?
mm,
Um, I didn't handle it well, and it definitely affected my grades and wanting to get up and go to school.
hmm
And I was in criminal justice program, and I kind of regret doing that too because like I was doing that, and I was like, why do I need to do that? I'm going to MP school, and you don't need a degree to do it. So if I could go back, I would definitely go back and do some type of business degree. But
hmm
so yeah, I was just very discouraged to continue. But yeah, and then I tried to go back, and then the suspension thing. So then left, and then actually, so I'm kind of fast forwarding again here. So 2 years, I already graduated the police academy. I'm single dad at the time, have my son like half the week. We've been 50-50 his whole life. I decided, no, I'm going to give baseball a try again, and keep myself busy. So I actually
hmm
joined York County Community College and down near my PD. So I'd work the night shift. I'd go to class in the morning, sleep in the parking lot when I didn't have my son, and then go to baseball practice or our games. And I actually got it was a brand new program for the school, and I actually got the first hit in program history
nice.
at my old college.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so my ball's framed at the school, so it's pretty
That's
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So I kinda got my redemption. That was kinda
Yeah,
like my redemption, like, "Okay, I can move on now," like,
right.
emotionally from the game.
Well, so you mentioned earlier you were the first in your family to go to college, right?
Yep.
And then you kind of got out and some of the other family members kind of went maybe the wrong path. What kept you from going down that wrong path? Was it because you wanted to be a police officer so bad? Was that the main
So,
driving factor? Is that how
yeah,
you did that?
it was that, and then, my older brother, everybody says, "Oh, you gotta have role models," right?
Yeah.
My greatest role model is actually my brother who failed.
Hmm.
Like, everything I learned and what not to do is because I watched him, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, "Dude, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at because I learned from you.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you got the shit stick of it, but I learned what not to do, how to avoid certain situations and stuff, and he didn't have it good. He got into some bad things and been arrested, and, he's great now, he's doing very well,
Good.
um,
Good.
staying out of trouble and building a little farm on his land, and has an amazing wife, like, awesome the way he was able to come back from it. But he had a little bit more scar from our childhood, and I think that came with his mental health. And
Yeah.
I'm working with him right now to convince him to start a clothing brand called the ZTL Collection. It's going to focus on men's mental health, and I'm going to try and sell it on my website.
Nice.
So I'm going to surprise him with that. Hopefully, he's not listening, but uh,
yeah.
I'm going to surprise
Yeah.
him with that soon. And I just show him that it is possible to reach your dreams because he's had this logo in his arsenal of ideas
hmm
since he was 18 years old. And he showed it to me a few weeks ago. I'm like, dude, we can do it. I was like, we can do it. And he's a little discouraged. I think I'm gonna I'm gonna bring that to life for him.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, so I wanted to ask you because now we're kind of getting to that point.
Yeah.
What made you start your own company, and how was it being a detective full time and then trying to run a company? Like now you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, right?
So
So
yeah, it's been hard. It's been difficult. So right now I transitioned to the Air Force National Guard.
right.
So I'm doing that every month just to keep the benefits, and
hmm
I'm halfway there. So I got to make a big decision. Do I stay or do I leave? So I'm doing that. I'm also working at two different police departments right now. The one that got me started, I always go back and work at least once a month for part time, help them out when I can. And then I'm working as much overtime as I can at my PD, as well as being on the SWAT team. So there's a lot going on, and then I'm trying to run this company. But the reason I started this company is because in law enforcement world, we're constantly going to these trainings. Like we always have to be going to trainings. There's no doubt your PD requires you to go. You want to go. You want to get better at your job. And I was up teaching at the academy, combatives and other stuff. And I was speaking to a guy um, that I watched his PowerPoint. And I was like, "Can I get that from you? Like, I want to bring that back to our summer reserves and teach them." And he's like, I can't let you because one day I'm gonna go private. And
Mm.
like this bell rang in my head was like, okay, private. I could go private. And I started thinking, I was like, all these private companies are cops that are at the end of their career and they're just starting. And and they love it, but how big can I get if I started now?
Yeah.
Um, and not at the end of my career when I'm tired and like
Right. Burned out.
burned out. Like
Yeah.
I could do it now. And it's just running a business and hiring people to teach.
Hmm.
And so for the last 2 years, I just started working on it. And I was like, I'm not going to care what people say. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because I'm a young cop. I'm 7 years on the job now. And yeah, I just knew there'd be a lot of backlash for doing this, especially I'm not going to say any company names, but we have a company here in Maine that's a monopoly, and that
Mm.
they have been the show of law enforcement training for a long time. And coming in to compete against them has been difficult. It's been fun. I'm not backing down, so
Yeah.
it's been great. So I'm gonna keep it going, but I just wanted to also set up a life for my kids.
Hmm.
I can work all the overtime and make six figures, but unfortunately these days that's nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you're right.
so
You're right about that.
uh, I'm doing it. I'm saving money for my kids, doing their college investments. I do have another son. He's 8 months old with my fiance.
Nice.
Um, So just trying to save them so I can put them through school and help
Hmm.
them and guide them the right way through life. And I feel like if I start this company now, I'll be able to do that and provide a better life than I grew up. That's really my main goal. My kids drive
That's
me. So
that's awesome, man.
yeah.
Is your department, the current department, are they cool with you doing that, or do they kind of
Yeah.
give you?
No,
Okay, nice.
my department, like I said before, the chief is awesome and she
Yeah.
supports it. She actually allowed me to host my first class there, which is actually a mental health response course for 2 days.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really great. We learned a lot on how we can improve and things we can go through. And now we have two more classes. I started a women's self defense course that I'm doing at that department for just women, civilian women,
Mhm.
um, teaching them a little bit about self defense, pepper spray, weapon usage. We're doing a huge OUI class where we're going to bring in live intoxicated people
Mhm.
and allow officers, which is called proficiency. I'm not sure if you did that
Yeah,
and
oh,
get
yeah, we
them,
did it at
yeah,
the academy.
through
Yeah.
it's all the NHTSA standard stuff, but we're just trying to
Yeah.
make it different. Like day one's the classroom stuff, and day two we're gonna have an attorney come, OUI
Mm.
attorney that we compete against, and give us tips on how to beat him. And then we're gonna have this live on the beach, on a pier. Just get it out of the classroom. The company, the pier, they donated their space to us, so they're allowing us to come and do this for free. And
Nice.
real awesome. It's educate us and kind of let the community know what's going on. And then we're also, right now we're working with a news channel to do a public information officer class. I have one of their anchors, their lead anchor for Channel 8. She's going to teach a class for me and June 4th. So we got a lot of stuff going on and just want to keep it going.
So tell us the name of your company real quick, and I got a question for you.
Yeah, it's Paragon Training Co.
So, have you explored the idea of, like, any of the church security stuff
Yeah,
with your company?
that was actually the first thing that we reached out about. I made pamphlets and sent them out to pretty much every church in the area. A lot of it's hard with the money up here with churches.
Yeah.
Luckily, a guy I work with at my part-time PD is a chaplain, and he runs an
Mm.
association with all the churches. So
Nice.
he's agreed to allow me to come in and give my pitch. Um, but yeah, I'm looking not to just do security for them. I'm looking to train their security. A lot of our churches
Mhm.
up here have security, and people don't even realize it because they're just
Yeah.
people sitting there. I think it's a huge market, and we're not gonna. I can't charge what I normally charge for that, so I just can't do it. Um,
No, yeah, just
so I've offered it small. We've had some bites, but I feel like as we grow and people get more comfortable with our company being around, then we'll start to get them. But that was actually the first thing I ever did with the company.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because I know that's big in this area. Of course, there's a church on every
Hmm.
corner in
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee, but yeah, a lot of companies do they do the training, and then the church, like you said, has their own security team. But there's some pretty big companies here. So I want to ask you a question too. As you mentioned, the mental health side.
Yeah.
In your current, I know obviously we're going to tread lightly here, but do you feel like this day and age, because you are still on the job, that mental health is more of a subject that is met with open arms versus maybe like my generation, where you didn't talk about your feelings, you didn't talk about what happened on a call, you just kind of were expected to suck it up and move
Yeah.
on? Is your department more open minded with that
Yeah.
stuff?
There's been a huge flip, at least in Maine, for mental health. There's a lot of new programs. We have a couple programs where there's two different types where you can come in and just listen and hear other stories and share if you want. And then there's other programs where you have to share
Hmm.
and talk about things. But after every major incident, there's usually some type of meeting that allows us to express what we went through. I mean, we have plenty of resources now. Even when I first started to now, this has been a huge flip, especially obviously military side. Just shut up,
Oh
keep
yeah,
it going.
yeah,
Even on the military side now, that's starting to open up. And
good.
I think there's been a huge flip in it, and that's why we kind of wanted to focus on mental health as one of our first classes to push out there.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah, we just want to keep educating people and showing that it's okay, especially in our line of work. That 5 year mark, that rumor they say once you hit your 5 years, you're kind of burnt out, and
Hmm.
that kind of happened to me. I mean, I got I hit like year 5 or 6, and like the amount of dead bodies I've seen and all that stuff was starting to like, okay, this is quite a bit, and just being able to talk about it has been able for me to better myself and approach my death investigations differently and just have a better peace of mind when I get home. 'Cause I don't want to take the job home with me. So
Yeah, that's good that you think that way. How does faith play a role for you in your mental health?
it's been weird for me. I'll be honest with you, because I've never had it, and I just started learning with my son. We've actually
Hmm.
starting to read this Bible. It's like a kid version Bible,
Yeah.
and we read it every night. We're going through each story, and I'm learning as I go because I'm learning who people are
Hmm.
and who God is and what He created. And for me and my son, at least, we talk about it every night. We read one of the stories, and then I ask him. I say, "What'd you learn?" And then he tells me what he learns, and we talk about it a little more. So doing that, I get to learn, and then talk with my fiance about it, and her grandmother, who actually teaches it, has just opened up my mind a little more and gave me a little. I guess it's faith. Gave me more faith in um, who I am and my confidence and going through stress. Yeah, it's been a huge change for me this last year. Literally when I started opening myself up to religion is when everything flipped for me. Started
Mm.
making more money. Started this company. Everything's going great. You know, just I get to be on your show. Like everything's everything's flipped for me, and
Mm.
it's weird because I'm not excessively doing it, but I feel different.
Yeah. Oh, it's not weird. I mean, I think it's you're you're opening, you're opening your
Yeah.
mind, you're opening your heart to Christ. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that not only that you're doing that, but that you're kind of you feel different. Now, I want to ask you, as a police officer, do you look at the world through a different lens now because you are a spiritual person, or do you see calls in a different way? Maybe beforehand when you weren't spiritual, do you
Oh.
see the world differently?
Yeah. I kind of learned this through religion and my fiance's empathy. Um, I didn't have a lot of it when I
Hmm.
first started the job, an understanding of people um, through an emotional connection. And I wanted to bring that up because, like, I was just like, okay, you did that. Yeah. But understanding why someone does it makes me way more of an top tier investigator than just going by what the books say. Like,
Hmm.
learning how people function and understanding how someone reacts to certain things is huge. And yeah, I think empathy is a tool people need to use when investigating, like understanding why someone did it, not agreeing, just
Mhm.
understanding why they did it. And that
Yeah.
will help you figure out your cases and move forward in your investigations.
What about, without getting in it too heavy, but like now that you're a spiritual person, does it make you look at your childhood and your past in a different light? Are you able to look at it through the lens of forgiveness or looking at it with the same empathy you can do on the job? Do you still use that towards your upbringing?
I tried to. I'm trying to. I would say there's a lot of unknowns still that I'm
Hmm.
trying to work through and figure out.
Yeah.
And I would say I do see my childhood as tragic, but I learned from it, and I am who I
Hmm.
am because of it. So at the same time, I'm grateful
Hmm.
that I went through it. It made me who I am. It gives me the opportunity to make sure my sons are raised to be good men, and yeah, I would s- I would just say that been through it and I've seen it, and now I can see it through a different light. Um, that I am more accepting of my childhood. I think now I was angry for a long time.
I totally
So
understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that. And I know it's not easy, Ryan. I'm just curious because that was something I know for me.
mhm,
I had to really and it's not it still bothers me at points, but it is not easy to forgive people that have like harmed you and wronged you. And but one thing I've learned over the years, and you probably know this, is when you harbor that resentment or that unresolved anger, unforgiveness, it gives that other person power. And
yeah,
if you can give it to Christ and pray for them in a way that's just, soften my heart towards them, I think it can release that valve a little bit. So
mhm,
you're not holding on to something that they may not even like be thinking about you, regardless of what it is, But and that's a weird concept. I know for me, it took me therapy, journaling, all the good stuff
mhm,
to kind of understand that. But and I'll just tell you straight up without getting into too much. I have a very unhealthy co-parenting situation I'm dealing with. And so that's one thing I've had to stay on top of just to be a better example for my son and show him just because someone doesn't like you, you can still love that person. Doesn't mean you're in love with them, but you can
mhm,
not wish, ill will towards them. And that's I don't know. I think that's one thing with spirituality in Christ. That's one thing for me that I wouldn't be able to do without Jesus. There's no way I'd be able to be that type of person. And you mentioned the word empathy. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know if I could even have that without Jesus in my life. I really don't, because I've always been the guy that has held grudges and struggled with anger and all that stuff and unresolved trauma. And so for me, I know Christ has kept me grounded. Like, hey, you've got
absolutely.
a higher calling here. But I admire you, man, because you went through hell, dude, and to see where you are today, I mean, you're an inspiration and role model just from that. But to now bring in Christ into the fold, I mean, because your kids are always watching you, and
Mhm,
your son, your son's like, really is um enjoying it because not only you're spending quality time, but you're learning together, and that's huge, man. That's really cool.
yeah, it's been awesome. Like even before I came here, he's like, "You're gonna be back in time to read me my
Nice,
Bible," and
nice, yeah,
he's been really into it. Yeah, and I'm just gonna keep it up for him, give him that little scapegoat because he's struggling through transitions, going back and
yeah.
forth. So,
Yeah, it's hard, man.
and then next year, school season, he's going to be at one of our houses Monday through Friday. So, um, trying to get him some type of peace before a big
Mm,
change happens.
yeah. So you'll have like
Yeah.
1 week on, 1 week off type situation?
Don't know. We're in the
Oh,
middle
okay.
of a battle. So,
That's right.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
I'm hoping whoever ends up with him, that it's great for him in school, and the other parent can come and see and get the weekends. And we both
Yeah,
want the same thing, so I think,
yeah.
either way, we'll be able to both provide him a good life. So,
That's a very good way to look at it, man. And
yeah.
that's very wise for your no offense, but for your age. That's a lot
Yeah.
of wisdom right there, man.
Life, yeah. I had my kid at 21, 22.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah.
still, dude, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
46 and I didn't grow up till I was 43. So I mean, I'm still working on it some days. But yeah, no,
Wow.
I mean that's pretty cool to hear you say that, man.
Yeah.
Um Well, do you have like since you and your son are reading at night and stuff, do you have a favorite verse or a favorite book of the Bible that you like to share with the audience?
I really don't have I'm still learning, like,
Mhm.
who is who, and and I'm trying to understand the stories. Actually did read the entire Bible when I was at basic training,
Oh,
because
wow,
that's
cool.
all I had. That's all we're
Yeah.
allowed to have, and I didn't understand it. And maybe it's my cop brain, but coming out and just learning about who Jesus is, like,
Mhm.
and who God is, I didn't understand like God was the creation. I didn't even know who Mary was
Mm.
until like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a lot, man,
Like
it's a lot.
I'm still trying to figure it all, and I don't think the book we're reading gives all the correct verses and stuff. So after I
Mm,
do this with my fiance's grandmother, I'm supposed to be doing her classes so I can go through. I believe it's called the Commandments.
okay.
Is that what it is? The 10?
Yeah, 10 Commandments, yeah.
Yeah, I have to go
Yeah.
through that and stuff to get baptized. So
Okay,
um, I plan on doing a education course with her and kind of learning it from an adult point of view.
nice.
So
Well, there's a Bible app that I use called, YouVerse or YouVer I have to pull it up, but it does like a verse of the day. Every day it gives you a new one. There's a
mhm.
little, short little video. They talk about, they do the verse, but they put it into like a, context where you can understand. And so what I like to do usually is just share it on the show, and
Yeah,
I'll
that'd be
read,
great. Yeah.
today's. It's from, Zechariah 14:9, so chapter 14, verse 9. The Lord will be king over the whole earth. On that day, there will be one Lord, and his name, the only name. And basically, what that means is there is only one God, and
Mhm.
the only way to get to the Father in heaven is through Jesus Christ. And to get through Jesus Christ, you've got to surrender your life to him, take him as your Lord and Savior, and, you know, follow him and be led by the Holy Spirit. And for a lot of people, and just to kind of do a snapshot view, I know for me, what Steve wants to do is usually not what's in line with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me grounded and keeps me guided. So if you're out there listening and like Ryan and myself dealing with custody and all that kind of stuff, or you've been divorced, the flesh usually is going to want to do something to gain or to, take away from the other person. The Holy Spirit will keep you grounded so that you do what's best for your son or your daughter or whatever the case may be. And I think it's a game changer, man. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always curious what we're gonna read next and what story I'm gonna see
Yeah.
because some of the stuff like is obviously about death and killing and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So it is interesting reading to a 5-year-old, and this is a kid version.
Yeah.
So a lot to talk about, a lot to
Well,
learn. I'm like, this isn't the Bible, but
yeah, there's a
at
there's a
the end
lot
of
of
it,
war. There's a lot of
yeah,
war in the Old Testament, dude.
yeah. So we read it and then we talk about it and
Nice.
break each chapter down every night. So
Nice.
yeah, it's
Well,
been an experience.
with everything that you've been through and everything you're doing now, if there's a listener or viewer that's watching and listening to this episode and they're on the edge of giving up, what would you say to that person?
Don't give up. I mean, your life is your life, and you can control every moment of it if you just put your mind to. I feel like no matter what I've gone through, I've always been able to push myself out and make it further and further every day. I mean, I'm 28 now. When I look back at my 21-year-old self, I'm like, wow, you really come far away. And now, hopefully, when I'm 35, it's the same thing. But just anytime there's things are getting hard, there's always someone to reach out to. There's someone that talk to, and there's definitely someone that will listen. And you'll make it through. And if things just keep getting harder and harder, just keep reaching out. Don't give up.
Well said. There's strength in numbers, and it takes
Hmm.
courage to ask for help. And being silent is not strength. It takes more courage to speak up and say, "Hey," to the right person, but I
Hmm.
need some help, or I need to talk through these things.
Yeah, and
Um, Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, if you probably have a lot of cops listening, military people. I mean,
Hmm.
I would recommend finding a therapist that strictly only does law enforcement or military. It's a huge game changer going to someone that actually understands what you're going through. Or
Hmm.
EMS, there's one for every profession has someone that focuses on what they do. So definitely recommend going through someone in your profession. It's helped me. So
Good
definitely.
point. Good point. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, where can our viewers and listeners learn more about you, Ryan?
Check out our Instagram. It's Paragon Training Co. We'll have, and our Facebook's Paragon Training Co. Everything's you'll hear Paragon Training Co. or PTC. Um, we're gonna be posting all this up on Instagram as well. And if you want to keep hearing our story, you can go on our website at paragontrainingco.com. There's a little bio about me and my instructors. And just keep following us because we're going to be posting regularly and getting some more content out as we grow. So love the
Nice.
support. Follow us. and hopefully attend our courses. We just signed if you're law enforcement out there in New England, we just signed a contract with F3 Defense, and we're going to be doing OC courses and handcuffing courses throughout New England for the upcoming year. So sign up for our courses, you'll love it.
Very cool. That OC spray is some nasty stuff, man.
Oh yeah, I've been sprayed 4 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I only got sprayed once. I don't I don't
Yeah.
want to do it again.
I get tased any day.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt, dude. No doubt. They make the taser sound way worse than it is. But
I do
yeah,
like spraying people. I get to spray all the kids that come in for the summer
that's different
and
than
do it.
getting sprayed.
It's pretty awesome. Being an instructor is pretty sweet. So sign up for
Yeah,
our course.
yeah, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll put in the description, I'll put your
Mhm.
links, and then
Awesome.
obviously when we drop clips and stuff, we'll make sure to tag and collaborate and all that good stuff so we can get more people over to your company.
I
Well,
appreciate it.
yeah, man. I'm gonna pray us out. So please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the opportunity to sit down with Ryan tonight and just to share his courageous story of resilience and discipline and perseverance. Lord, I pray that those that are watching tonight, listening, that they know their life has meaning, and that through you, Lord, they can find peace and they can find purpose and they can find power through you, Lord. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have this platform and to have this podcast. I pray you'll bless Ryan and just cover him in your blood, protect him, be with him, Lord, as he works, keep him safe, also be with his family and also with what he's going through right now and trying to just to be there for his son. And I pray he's able to get the custody that he needs to raise his son in a way that is healthiest. I pray, Lord, that you'll continue to guide this mission and lead it. And then I pray you will just be there and watch over all of us and all those that are watching and listening. It's in your mighty name that I pray. Amen.
Mhm.
Thanks for checking out the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. New episodes drop every Wednesday and every Thursday. We're here on YouTube, also on Spotify, Amazon Music, and on Apple Podcast. Ryan, this has been a pleasure, man, speaking with you. Thank you for having the courage to come on tonight and to share your story with all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. You take care and
Yeah.
God bless. All right.
You as well. Thank you.